Well, hi everyone. Welcome to my backyard. Now, I just have a really small backyard, but I love to try to grow things. I have lots of different flowers. Some of them do better than others. I have an herb garden, and I also have a little tiny vegetable garden in the back corner. Now, I have to keep it covered because we have rabbits and squirrels and raccoons that love to eat my garden. But I'm amazed at how much I am able to grow in that little tiny 3x3. Today I went out and picked some things. So I have some cherry tomatoes, some jalapenos, some lettuce, and some mini carrots. And I have kale. Boy, do I have kale. If anyone needs kale, just let me know. Now, in my small yard and in my small garden, I grow small vegetables. But there's someone in our church who is able to grow really big vegetables. Now, his name is Al Adcock, and you know him as our minister of music. Normally, we celebrate all of his wonderful musical talents. But today I'm celebrating him as a gardener because he shared with me a really big zucchini this week. Now, I would never be able to grow this in my little garden. I've been looking at this for 24 hours, wondering, what am I going to do with this big zucchini? Well, zucchinis are great vegetables, you know. They can be sauteed, steamed, stuffed, roasted, but I'm in the mood for something sweet. So I think I'm going to make some zucchini bread. Now I'm wondering if you could join me in my kitchen, and let's see if we can learn anything about God's teachings while we make some zucchini bread together. All right, so here we are in the kitchen. And we're going to see if we can make some zucchini bread. Well, the first thing that I had to do was find a really good recipe. Now, this is a cookbook that our church put out way back in 1997. And I still use it really often because I know we have good cooks in our church, and so I know that they have very good recipes. So I was looking through the cookbook, and you can see that it's one that I use because I have recipes highlighted and I have notes. Well, I saw this spicy zucchini bread and it had a yum beside it. So that means that I must have made it at one point and that it was really good. Now, this recipe was brought to the church from April Steffi, and so I'm going to share it with you today. So to make our spicy zucchini bread, we're going to need 3 eggs, a cup of oil, 1.5 cups of sugar. Now, parents, don't freak out. We're making a lot of bread. It's okay. We have 3 cups of flour, 3 cups of shredded zucchini from Al's Zucchini, which I still have this much left, and we'll be able to make many more things. And then I have some little tiny bits of ingredients. I have a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Over here, I have the things that give it spice. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, a teaspoon of allspice, and a teaspoon of cloves. And then I'm going to add in some raisins because I have these good plump, juicy raisins that I think will go really well. Now, when I look at these ingredients, each one has a really important role to play in getting our zucchini bread to come out correctly. I mean, we need the eggs so the bread can have structure, and the flour makes it tender. We know the sugar makes it sweet, and the oil helps to make it moist. Some of the most important ingredients, though, are these little tiny ones. The teaspoon of baking powder and the teaspoon of baking soda are what help the bread to rise. If I didn't include those little bits of ingredients, I would have a flat zucchini pancake. And if we didn't add some of the flavorings, well, that zucchini bread would be really bland. So we need all of these working together to make our bread. When I look at this, there really isn't one ingredient that I would want to eat just on its own. I sure wouldn't want to eat this bowl of flour. I might eat a little bit of the sugar, but not that much. And absolutely not eating those raw eggs. So I think it's pretty amazing how a recipe needs all of these working together. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up, and let's see if it turns into zucchini bread. All right, it's been about 20 minutes, and I think we should check on our bread and see how it's looking. So I'm going to open the door quickly. We're going to look at it and then close it so we don't lose too much heat. All right, are we ready? Oh, the bread is looking good. Oh, I can smell the spices. It's puffing up really nicely. So I don't know, but I think we might have success. Okay, well, the bread has finished and the kitchen smells so good. I wish you could smell it too. I can see that all the ingredients work together. The bread is nice and puffy. So let's cut into a loaf and just see how it is. This is the moment of truth. Oh yeah. Now this is one of the loaves with the raisins in it. It looks delicious. Nice and moist and nice and spicy. So I am wondering, what does all of this have to do with God anyways? Well, our verse for today is from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. And in the Children's Bible, it says it this way: God has made us what we are. In Christ Jesus, God made us new people so that we would do good work. God had planned in advance those good works for us. He had planned for us to live our lives doing them. So you know what? We are a lot like the ingredients that went into this bread. God has made us what we are. He has laid out work for us to do. But when we try to do it alone, we can't always accomplish very much. Just like the 3 eggs could never have become bread on their own, or the 3 cups of flour could have never become bread on its own. But together, they definitely made something really wonderful. So whoever you are and whatever you can do is needed. As we learned with our recipe, even the tiny amounts of ingredients like the baking soda and baking powder can make a huge difference. All right, so you know what, whether you are 3 years old or 103, you have an important contribution to make. You and your good works are needed in our church. They're needed in our schools, in our communities, in our families, and in our world. When we come together, when we work together to glorify God, miracles can happen. So I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do today? Talk to your families, talk to your friends, and see what you can come up with. Kids of Northwest Christian Church, I know how creative you can be, and I can't wait to see the kind of ideas that you have. You know, whether you share a zucchini with someone or you make a loaf of bread, you can completely change someone's life. So let's get busy. Let's do the work that God has laid out for us to do. Now, I hope that all of you 2nd through 5th graders have registered for junior camp because it starts today. The theme this year is miracles. They can happen. And I hope you have a great week doing the work that God has laid out for us, and a great week at camp. Virtually, of course. Until next Sunday, have a good week. Bye.